welcome to the event. We're really happy that you're here. We're about to go live in just a few moments, but before we lift off, there's a few important things we want to make sure that you're aware of so you get the best possible experience out of this. First of all, the sound current is supremely important to us, the musical experience. So if possible, we really encourage you to use good speakers. Second, if you have any pre-existing injuries, please take care of yourself. Modify exacerbating an injury because of a yoga conditions and you're not quite sure if this would be good for you, please consult with your primary healthcare practitioner and make sure it's the right thing for you. Also, make yourself relatively comfortable. You can use a cushion, and in fact we encourage you in our seated positions, meditation practices, to use a cushion. It helps lift the heart up, keep the spine straight, and it's more ideal for the flow of energy in the body and for the meditation experience. You can even be sitting in a chair with feet flat on the floor for those of you that are unable to sit in a meditative sitting posture on the floor. Just use a chair, and for many of the exercises that will work perfectly fine. And then lastly, if you're having any problems with the video icon on the video, adjust your resolution. If you're new to this type of thing, just take care of yourself. If there's something that you don't quite understand, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Everything that needs to click will click after a few times of trying it out. Enjoy the experience. We're about to get started in just a moment. Okay, greetings. Happy new moon and happy eclipse time. I always feel a little like happy eclipse time, but it is happy eclipse time. If the thing about eclipses, my experience is they're consistent in one thing, in that they're consistent in moving some sort of energy, creating some sense of unsettledness. Sometimes that is like just what we need and it makes our life feel better. Sometimes it stirs something up and at least in the temporary makes our life feel very difficult and everything in between. But I've noticed with time that eclipses definitely have that type of an effect. But of course you can go about without noticing it if you're not actively paying attention to such things. Other than that, I don't find them consistent at all. I find the experience of being inside of an eclipse time. So 2 weeks ago we had a lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse always happens on the full moon. And then today, right at this moment, we're having the solar eclipse, which always happens on the new moon. So it's a dark moon, and then the sun is being eclipsed. In most parts of the world for this eclipse, it's not visible, but definitely it has an effect. If the shadow comes over the sun, obviously it has effect on the whole electromagnetic field of the planet,
And of course, that must also, at some level, have effect on our magnetic fields. But all of this is totally a mystery to me. And I've long ago surrendered my attempts to figure out how exactly it works. But also to enjoy it. Like, how does a river work? How does the birds work? Well, so Eclipse is happy, yes, but heavy also. They bring a certain heavy energy with them. And heavy is not necessarily bad. It's like if you're going to go see a musician, do you want to see a light or a heavyweight? You want to see heavy. So heavy energy can be also very powerful in a great way too, if you kind of lean into that. Often the heavy energies of our life are kind of subconsciously trying to push away, because it's sometimes, to get there, it's the harder things to wrestle with. But all of yoga practice is simply about transforming the patterning of my mind, the parts of my mind that are making me more miserable, and transforming those patterns slowly but surely, little baby steps, not in a rush, not uptight about it, still having fun, but little by little transforming my miserable tendencies into more happy tendencies, but try to do it genuinely. And it's very easy with spiritual things to where it becomes a little bit performative, and partly that's the problem. We're trying to emulate states of being that we're longing to experience. Ultimately, my ability to become really happy happens in the privacy of my own mind and heart. Part of my experience that I only really have access to, and same also to you. So this eclipse, it has a heavy also because it's exactly from the exact point of the eclipse, 180 degrees away, so exactly across the sky, to the degree is Shani, Saturn. And so that's, for people who know some astrology, that's exactly 7 houses away. So eastern horizon is the point where the sun rises. That's always called the first house. And then 180 degrees away is the western horizon where the sun sets. Sunrise, sun sets. That's 180 degrees exactly. Okay? So right now, interestingly, on this eclipse, not only is it happening on the equinox time, where the nighttime and the daytime are of equal. That's what equinox means, equal light. And you also have this, somehow, interestingly, you have Shani, which is Saturn, looking exactly at the eclipse. In ancient India, they call that drishti. In yoga practice, we call that drishti, where you're putting your inner gaze or your outer gaze, your gaze, on a point of focus. Because the entire idea, in order to transform the patternings of the mind, I can't stay up on the surface level. So during eclipse, it can be windy on the surface level, like you're at the river and the wind's blowing and it's creating the ripples all over. So what a yogi is trying to do is to use techniques to drop the mind from the surface level down, kind of deeper underneath the water. And it's cool down there, but it's also turbulent at first. That's why the Kundalini Yoga Kriyas, for instance, initially feel like they stir things up, but always when we're done, you're just like, so clear, so feels so good, feels so bright. But in the meantime, while we're doing it, it's sometimes turbulent, isn't it? And so when you drop down underneath, this is where eventually bliss can be found. And the thing about bliss is that would be blissful eclipse might be a better word than happy eclipse. So happy in terms of sukha. Sukha means ease, happy. But bliss is a type of thing. Bliss is not light. Bliss is not heavy. Bliss is something that is beyond these two things. It's beyond goods and bads. What they're talking about in yoga when they say the Anandamaya Kosha, the Ananda, the bliss body. So it's something you can be sad and blissful simultaneously. You can be happy and blissful simultaneously. True? The proof is like this. When a baby is born, like a family member, someone whom we're close to is a new child, it's so amazing that you cry. The joy is so severe. I like those combos of words. That joy is so severe. we cry. And then if a beloved family member, loved one passes away, which we all will, the love is so severe, the love is so tremendous, the grief is so severe, we cry. But on both sides, we cry. And we cry for the same reason. We cry because love. We don't cry if we didn't love. We cry because we love. So the center, this thing is love. This is the Dharma physics of it. So yes, there's a science to it, but it's equally an art. It's poetry. How to work with the mind. So we're not always trying to figure it out. We're trying to enjoy, we're trying to experience, we're trying to kind of open up to a supreme reality. And all of the kind of wisdom throughout the ages, and particularly in the Indian context, they say it's, what is it? Well, you can't really say, but you point to lots of things, and the one thing they say over and over is Sat Chit Ananda is what it is. Sat is truth, Chit is mind, and Ananda is bliss. So it's life, it's light, and it's bliss. Whatever, these are poems, they're poetics. It only means something if that becomes a genuine experience of mine. And it will, and it does, and it already has for all of us. But more and more, when the mind is kind of attuned to that part of our psyche, to that part of the life, then we rest in it. And our life is kind of lived through that. And when the really difficult parts of our life come, which they always eventually do, don't they? We'll be there with that. And then when the really beautiful pleasure at times, we'll be there with that too. And we won't get swung so dramatically by either of them because we're hanging out in the bliss field, in the in-between spaces. So during an eclipse, the yogis say that if you're doing a sadhana, some practice, like you're chanting some mantra, doing some pranayama, doing some meditation practice, that its effects are exponentially amplified. If you've ever sat under as a totality eclipse, like a lot of us have, you do not have to be convinced of this. It's quite obvious. But it's more subtle when you're sitting like a partial eclipse that's only like over like kind of the South Pole type thing. But certainly things are happening in our life. Things become unsettled in our life and stirred up. So leaning into that part, like if I'm really interested in becoming a blissful human being, eclipses become my ally. But if I'm just really interested in things staying kind of reformed on the surface, eclipses are going to be more difficult for me. So it's leaning into that. Go in the bliss route. That's what the great jazz master Wayne Shorter just passed a couple of years. He called it zero gravity. He said what is it? He said he called it the constant. What is the constant? What is the thing that was there when we were born, and what is the thing that is there also when we die? And ride on that field. Yeah, that's the Sat Chit Ananda. So we're going on a journey together, okay? All right, try it like this. Come sitting up, please. We're doing these yoga exercises. We'll do some energization exercises. Open up the channels, get the chi prana flowing. And almost for all of them, you just want to make sure you're on your sit bones. So use a little cushion to lift you up. And why are we doing that? Because one vertical relationship with gravity. So I always encourage, think less of a straightened spine and more of like lifted heart. Drop shoulders, chin ever so slightly in, because that's why you have two poles as a human being. You have the pole that's at the crown or just above the top of the head, crown of the head. And then you have the base of the spine that connects down into the earth. This is Sukhasana. Easy pose, but what does it really mean? Ease. You're creating the optimum environment for the chi, the prana, to be able to move with less suppression. So during the sadhana, during a practice, you begin, as Patanjali says, now begins the practice of yoga, where you, for the time being, during the sadhana, all the other winds and waves and activities of life are left behind. And the entire devotion of the mind's awareness goes to the point of focus. Sometimes that's the drishti, where you're putting your gaze. So soften the inner gaze slightly up and in, like where the root of your nose meets the skull bone. And try not too hard, Just try to soften there, and then bring your awareness and your intention to the flow of your breath. Have your body breathe now just through your nose. And try not to analyze it too much. Try not to evaluate how well of a job that you're doing, or even if you like it or not. Because all of that is doing something other than paying attention to the presence of your breath, the feel of it, the rhythm of it. The yogis call it pavan, which means carrier, and they're inferring it is the breath as the carrier of your life force. What enters you when you come out of the womb, and then what exits at the final moment. For now, we're in the bardo, we're in the between of the human life, the bardo of human life. Follow the breath current with your mind's awareness. Pretty great. See if with your feel of your body you can create one vertical relationship with gravity. And the head's not forward, pushing gravity that way, and the spine arch pushing it, but keeping the heart lifted. And as we begin into this sadhana, into this practice, go ahead and arouse a motivation, an intention. Like, what is it that's most important to you and your mind and your heart right now in your life, this season of your life, inside of this moment of time? It's kind of beyond time. And then simultaneously, if you would, you think of someone whom you love tremendously. Love. And you give some beautiful wish for them. It's working with our magnetics. Take your hands to your ankles or shins. You're right on your sit bones. It's like this. It's just through your nose. It's like a sniff in, and it's like a sniff out. Inhale. Now suspend your breath in. That means keep it in, yet soften your chest and lift through your pelvic floor, rectal sphincter, sex organ, gently up and in. Then exhale. So that's pretty much the curriculum for every exercise and the meditation we'll do. We're going to do these sequences of exercises It's going to move into a Kriya. It'll get more intense. Just do your best. Anytime you need to relax, just relax. I'll be encouraging you, but you take care of you. And then it'll end in an incredible meditation. But what I said curriculum, the idea for all of it is when you're in the exercise, put your attention on the point of focus to the best of your ability. Easier said than done. But the main way that we're going to be doing that is through rhythm. So it's going to be putting the mind on rhythm. If you know you can use a mantra, we'll use a mantra. You put the mind on the breath, but all of that body, breath, and mind is about to synchronize into one beautiful rhythm. Okay? And as the mind goes this way and that way, as the thoughts jump, and this thought and that thought and this thought and this thought, bueno, no problem. The one thing here's the sadhana. Endeavor not to follow the stories that the thoughts create. Endeavor not to follow the stories and the narratives that the emotions that are arising create. Allow, if I feel sad. During the sadhana, don't follow the story. That's the idea. Later, follow the story all you want, chat, whatever. But during the sadhana, don't follow it. Go back, oh my mind, follow the great rhythm. Okay? Take your hands like this. And then just let it swing, inhaling left, exhaling right. Just a few exercises here, starting to open the channels, starting to center the chi. We're not in a rush. We're feeling good. It's not really self-improvement practice. It's much more self-pleasure practice. But it has purified the density of the mind, the density of the body, the accumulated density. So we do feel the pleasure of life. So we do feel the bliss, the enjoyment of life. So we do keep the mind attuned to the bigger path of our life. Beautiful. To the center, inhale deep. And suspend, soften the heart, soften the mind. Exhale. Hands to your knees and yes. With the rhythm, continue. Every exhale, just let the shoulders release. Let them bounce up and let them release. Squeeze out. Exhale. Gyan Mudra, wisdom seal, index to thumb, palms facing up. So what you're going to do is a rhythmic breath. You'll inhale through your nose, and it's just like inhale, exhale. Inhale. Start out, please, a little lighter. Make it quite light, but make it rhythmic. My exhalation, inhalation comes equalized. Like a... Don't worry, it will get strong, it will get deep, but start smooth and light. Go. And get inside of a rhythm feel. Inhale. Exhale. Soften the mind. Inhale. Suspend. Exhale. Suspension of the breath. Lift through the pelvic floor, rectal sphincter, sex organ, navel point, up and in. Soft chest, soft mind. Exhale. Perfecto. Hands this time out, palms facing up, like so. Fingers nice and firm, chest is out, shoulder blades released. Inhale. Same. Fingers nice and firm, chest is nice and soft, mind soft. What is the Shani, Saturn, putting his drishti right on the point of exactly the sun and the moon. That's saying, do the inner work. Bring your attention inward. Slow down all the ambitions and aspirations. And pay attention how I feel now. Pay attention, what are my resources now? What is the resources of my inner energy? So the pole of the head at the crown and the pole at the base of the spine. And in between those 2 points does our chi, life force, flow. So with this kriya, you're putting with the navel point rhythm, firm fingers, like making a T-square. Soft chest, firm fingers. Put the inner gaze, point of the ajna, third eye space, best you can. And oh my mind, follow the rhythm. Inhale. Now make your fingers super tight like steel. Lift up your pelvic floor, rectal sphincter, sex organ, and under your belly button, the abdomen, up and in. And relax. Yes. Pretty good. Now like this, press them like this, prayer pose. But the knuckles of your thumbs into the sternum, like that. Then the angle here, 2 eyes to the 1 point between the eyebrows, but just soften. And also, even if you can only pay attention to like one of these things, perfect. Don't worry, I'm saying pay attention to this and pay attention to this. All of it's fair game. You don't have to pay attention to anything. It's your choice. But these are the ideas. Put attention, put the mind's awareness, put the heart's devotion, whatever you can. Use your creativity to blend your mind into a rhythm feel and then to focus it. And that's how you ride the current. And then the stories keep coming and the thoughts keep jumping and the emotions keep feeling and all of it's cool, but I'm on this current. And that's where I'm gonna keep going. Yeah? Take a deep inhale. And then the breath is not aggressive, you know? It's light and rhythmically deep. Make your power from feel of rhythm feel. And the breath comes from below your belly button in that point of the abdomen. What we call navel is just below the belly button. Then my exhale, inhale, equalized. The mind soft, the chest soft, qualities. little deeper now. Final moments. Inhale deep through your nose. Now lift up the pelvic floor and draw your navel point in and press the palms very strongly. With all your power, press your two palms and squeeze the muscles of your spine. Press them, please. Press them. Then through your nose, exhale. Relax. Bravo. Have some water. So what we do, we work with 8 main kind of points of inner magnetism, inner power, but it's also reflected in our outer life, and that's seen through the predominantly the 9 planets is the language that's used. It's not necessarily the study of astrology, it's the practice of yoga, but it's using the astrological principles to guide the psyche and understanding what we're doing and being able to use. Everybody has all 8 of these, all 8 paths, which is first is a path of prosperity or the path of wisdom. Everybody has a unique version of it. We all have a feeling of how do we feel in relationship to prosperity. What is our experience about it? What is the real deeper subconscious patterns around it? And this is Jupiter, this is Guru. Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is the overflowing cup. People with strong Jupiters, their cup, they're always positive. And it's not always best, but they're always positive. Also, we need negative. If without negative, you can't have positive. Negative creates the boundary. Positive creates the expansion. We need both. Where's the contraction? Where's the boundary? Is Shani, Saturn. So our path of work is Saturn. Our path of discipline is Saturn. What is our relation? Some people are just workers. That's strong Saturn. Some people can't figure out how to get themselves to work, but they know how to chill, you know? And the worker guy doesn't know how to chill, and they can benefit each other. You see? And so forth and so on. And then you have what they call in India is Buddha is Mercury. And that's your unique intelligence. Everybody's wired a little bit differently. I'm wired differently than you. I have my strengths and superpowers are different than yours, but everybody's got them. It's not like this only some people has unique intelligence. Everyone. Society highlights different types of intelligence and kind of intentionally or unintentionally cast them as more important. Like in a modern commercialized world, if you have the type of intelligence that's good at generating revenue, your talents and your form of intelligence is highlighted as in a certain sort of supreme. And it is supreme for what it is, but it's only relatively supreme. If there is such a word, you know. And when John Coltrane is saying a love supreme, he's not talking about relatively supreme. He's talking about the constant. He's talking about the infinite force. That's different. It has nothing to do with revenue, profits, or losses. It doesn't even exist in that realm. Yeah? But if I have like poetic intelligence, then maybe not highlighted in a kind of mainstream. But all that's changing, I think, definitely. Because we're figuring out what are the real values of human life. You know? What is it that creates a beautiful life? You get rid of art, forget about it. You know? Ugh. Just only hang out with the tech bros, you know? You need smoothness, you need beauty, you need aesthetics for everything to work. You know, but beauty is important. Refinement is important. Look how subtle their vibe is, you know? Look how it shines so beautifully. You know, they don't have to say a thing. That type of thing. This is what we mean by purifying the density of the psyche. So that's Jupiter, that's Saturn, that's Mercury. Then you have Venus as our path of love, and all of us are trying to figure that thing out. How do we experience love? What's our style of giving love? What's the path of our life in that regard to experience feeling love? And so he said, you met the love of the life. Boom, and everything. And then we did the wedding, and then it was amazing. It was. But then, you know, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 12 years. Changes. Things change. And so, if my path of my, like, what I was trying to experience love, and I did experience love, but something about that dwindled. Now I got to figure out what it really is, somehow. And so all these stories and all these narratives, they guide our life. We have our intuitions for sure. And you can see it in the person's horoscope. They're going to go after love in that direction. They're going to go after love. That's why some people say don't study your own horoscope. They say make somebody else miserable. But I'm all about studying my own horoscope, because I think the most helpful thing that astrology does for me is it reflects back my own blind spots to me that are harder to see, and I can kind of depersonalize them a little bit. As long as you get enough self-confidence where you're cool being chiseled, and you know you're kind of ignorant, you know? It's kind of... And so then it shows, you know? So if I understand, like, ooh, strong Saturn, like what's the asset in that? And then strong Saturn, what's the liability in that? What's the creative expression, more desirable expression of that? And then what's the less desirable, non-desirable, the expression of that that's gonna kind of cause me to hit a wall and to go through it and to perpetuate my suffering. And then if I'm perpetuating my suffering, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm also perpetuating the suffering of those around me, or potentially am. And so if I'm being honest with myself, I care about that. I care about the others around me. And I don't want to contribute to their suffering. Even more often the feeling is, and I bet the feeling is the same for a lot of us, is even more so than my own. I would almost rather perpetuate my own suffering than ever perpetuate someone else's suffering, those I love. But the Buddha gets involved here and it makes it more difficult. He's like, it's not just about those who I love. That's just the first ring of my relations, is those who I have attraction to. The second ring of my relations is those who I'm repelled by, those who I don't like, likes, dislikes. First ring, my homies, my beloveds, my family, people I kind of vibe with, those who I kind of consider like, you know, my world, my vibe, whatever. There's attraction there. Then the next ring out is like, no. That's not me. I don't vibe with that. I don't stand with that. No, thank you. In fact, sometimes maybe I stand against it. And then the third ring is the neutrals. And this is what the Buddha called the four immeasurables, the four boundless attitudes. And so when wishing happiness for another, wish happiness for myself, wish I don't want to have to suffer. If I'm being genuine, I don't want to suffer, and yet I am. Sometimes I cover it up, you know. But I don't want to suffer, and because I'm real with myself about that, I also know that you suffer, and I don't want you to suffer. And that can be genuine. But the Buddha is asking to go through all three rings with that same wish. So not just for my loved ones, but also for those who I'm not down with. How can I wish happiness for that person that I think is causing, you know, horrible harm in the world? Because if the person was actually happy, they wouldn't no way be causing that type of harm in the world. Truly happy. So it's a genuine wish to not have to suffer. Suffering creates more suffering, so you can have a genuine wish for even your enemy to not ever have to suffer, because they will be neutralized in that way. But you can't actually do it unless you're neutralizing your own psyche. Otherwise, it's just theory. If I'm not neutralizing my own enemy emotions, so to speak, and it's strong language, enemy emotions, and that's kind of the traditional language that's used, but it doesn't have to be like that. My own miseries, neutralize them and transform my own miseries into bliss. And if I know that sadness can come along, you know, heartache can come along on that journey. Heartache's included in my bliss. Heartache opens me up into more bliss. That's the beauty of it. Relationship comes together, amazing, bliss. Relationship falls apart, sometimes they do, bliss. It will be. Heartache, but it will be bliss. It's the best. It's the worst. But it's all the best, somehow. Yeah? What were we doing? Stretch your legs out wide like a V shape. Anyways, that's what we're doing. We're doing all of that. We're going in the between state. You're dropping the mind down into the inner space. Flex the feet, make your toes nice and engaged. Inhale, center. Turn to either side, fold. Inhale, center. Turn the other side, fold. Couple exercises, we start this kriya. Inhaling, fill your lungs. Exhaling, softening, opening. Take your time, it's no rush, but do give yourself some nice feeling of rhythm. Jupiter is our path of prosperity, our journey. Saturn's our path of work, of caliber, of discipline, of backbone. Mercury's our path of unique intelligence. Venus our path of love. Moon is our path of inner peace and even bliss. Bliss, moon, and she's called Chandra. But then when she transforms into her subtle expression, she's called Soma, the nectar of bliss. And these are not planets outside of ourselves. These are the inner spheres. They're the inner forces of our own architecture, microcosmically, and then macrocosmically, also they exist as planetary spheres. Isn't it? It's interesting. Who can figure this out? You know, it's beyond the beyond. Para para. So breathe. Focus on the breath now. Take your time. A little deeper with your breathing. Open the legs just a touch little wider. The sun is our path of self-confidence and igniting our real brilliance. Inhale, center, then fold down, center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. That's why a Leo person, they have really no problem expressing their brilliance, you know. It's this ruled by the sun, Leo. But it matters not where your sun is placed, where your moon is placed, whether you think your chart is great or some horrible thing that's just, you know, proof of all the neuroses. Everybody can cultivate an exalted sun. Everybody can cultivate an exalted moon. What does that mean? Like a supreme confidence, an inner bliss. They go together, sun, moon. And inhale, lift up. And then relax, shake your legs out. And come standing, please. You'll be like this with your arms out, like Nima here, and with your legs out. Fingers are firm. Legs are nice and strong. Soft chest. You'll inhale here. You exhale in that direction. You inhale. Use your core to lift you on your inhalation. And then on the exhalation down. Like that. Good. Breathe. Fill your lungs on the inhale. Inhale. Fingers firm, legs strong. Exhale. Come onto your backs. Okay? So you're gonna come on your backs and you're gonna hug your knees to your chest like this. Then you come like this. Eyes on your toes. Inhale deep. Draw your navel point in, below your belly button. In. Relax. Hug your knees into your chest. If that strained your low back or was starting to strain your low back, hands underneath your butt, please. Palms facing down. Hug the knees to the chest. Exhale here. Inhale back into the position. Eyes on the toes. With the rhythm, go. Move your navel point. In the rhythm, go. Inhale deep. Pelvic floor in. Relax. Beautiful. Hug the knees to the chest. Bring the nose up to the knees. Inhale. Exhale here. Una más. Inhale back into the same position. Go. The abdomen below your belly button. Put it in the rhythm. Go. The mind is jumping this way, that way. Rhythm. Inhale, deepest. Now pelvic floor in, draw your navel in, deep, so it shakes. In, relax. Beautiful. Very nice. Hug the knees to your chest. Just rock several times on your spine. Come sitting. Okay, you ready? 3 exercises. 3 exercises and you lay down, okay? Perfecto. Like this, your thumbs to the base of your pinky finger. Thumb, that's called the Mercury mound, base of the pinky finger. Thumb press in. Then Mercury, pinky, and sun finger ring, hold down your thumb. And then Jupiter, Saturn, index, middle are out like that. You point them towards each other like so. You have a exhale that's so strong it makes your nose wrinkle. Like, don't worry, this is the wrinkling that takes away the wrinklings. All right, so when you exhale, just this exercise, normally you try to keep your face calm, but this exercise, when you exhale, so the O-shaped mouth takes the inhale in. And you don't go out here. It's not this. It's precise. It's now eyes can be closed, third eye, but best if you can peek them open a little bit and gaze down towards the tip of your nose. That puts the equal and opposite pressure, frontal cortex, frontal lobe, pituitary gland. So, wrinkle the nose on the exhale, an O shape, pull a deep breath in within the time of the rhythm through the O-shaped mouth. Beautiful, go into it. seconds. Beautiful. Through the mouth, inhale. Now lock your back molars together, lift your pelvic floor and squeeze the muscles of your spine. And like a cannon, exhale. Inhale. Lift your pelvic floor, root lock, mula bandh. Lock your back molars, lock them, adjust the cranium, the bones of your skull. Exhale. Inhale. Squeeze the spine, lock the molars. Exhale. Relax. Almost the same mudra, but this time the thumb holds down the pinky and ring, the index and middle are up. Now the idea is you keep your upper arms close to your rib cage as possible. Everybody's body's a little different. And it's very tight, like away from you circles, outward circles, very tight. First must be a little bit of a pelvic floor lift. And you go gazing the tip of the nose again. And you try to spin them very quickly. It's a very difficult exercise. Then you make an O-shaped mouth and you make your diaphragm move in a way that makes like a you try to make your diaphragm move with that sound. It's hard to do. It's hard to keep up. T-R-Y. Try. Try to be a little like disciplined, tight, but it's not so reserved, you know? You have to let it spin. It's so the whole spine will be shaking. Come on, it's very short exercise, but very intense, demanding, I should say. 60 seconds, go. Try it. O-shaped mouth. Tip of your nose. Double that. Double that speed. Come on. Do something. Very tight. Come on, tight. Tip of the nose. Ten seconds, go. 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 Through the mouth, inhale. Mula bandh, rectum, sex organ, navel. Squeeze your spine. Now press your two lips together and squeeze the body. Exhale. Dos más. Root lock. Spine, press your two lips together. Concentrate the chi, center of you. Exhale. Inhale. Squeeze. Lips, press them, press the lips. Bring out an inner strength, press them. Exhale. last exercise. Shake your arms out a little bit. Kind of stay in your body. Shake your arms. Shake your arms is trying to distribute the chi all around. Now same mudra. Palms facing forward. Pinky and ring held down with your thumb. Index middle out. Come like this, palms facing forward, then turn the palm side up towards the ceiling, and then keep it going and try to twist it all the way as you can, twisting the inner elbows up. And then make your breath long, slow, and deep. Please try to gaze down the tip of the nose. If that's not possible, close your eyes. Concentrate on the breathing. Stay with it. It's very difficult. It's not very long. The more difficult it becomes, that much deeper must be the breath. It changes the serum of your spine. Through the nose, breathe. Inhale. Lock your back molars. Twist the elbows to their maximum. And very slowly relax. And please relax for just a couple of minutes on your backs. Inhale. Exhale. Move your fingers and your toes. Rotating your wrists and ankles. Rub the palms, make some friction. Rub the soles of the feet, make some friction. Cat stretch to each side. Okay, hug the knees to the chest. So to me, this is the best part, my favorite part, where you take all of that. Oh, sorry, come up. Rock and roll your spine, come up, have some water. I was in my own world up here. The strong kriyas that purify the psyche help to transform the mind. But doing it without conscious motivation, anybody can run energy through a body, move the energy around. That's not the practice of yoga. Patanjali is very clear what the practice of yoga is. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the transformation or the neutralization of the vortices, of the vrittis, of the whirlpools of the chitta. The chitta is the field of the psyche, the emotions, the feelings, the this, the that. What does this mean, neutralize? To transform it. And so what we're doing is you're using the kriyas, these really extraordinary meditations and practices that then give you a very way to kind of activate all of that. To take your intention, take your motivation for your life, and then to activate it with something tactical, functional, practical, visceral. So you take the backs of your middle, ring, and pinky fingers and you press them against each other. And then the index, the Jupiter fingers cross at an angle. The thumbs point away from me. Index fingers point away from me. The backs of the middles, the rings, and the pinky fingers, they point up towards the ceiling. Yeah? And you hold it up at your heart center like this. You close your eyes. And you begin to make your breath slow and meditatively deep. Yeah? So backs of the pinkies, rings, middle fingers, then index fingers, Jupiter fingers cross at an angle pointing away from you. Thumbs stretch out, pointing away from you. And you hold that at your chest. The great heart seal. And in your mind, in your heart, you feel your inner wish, your inner aspirations. You may also feel your fears and your worries. And those represent the wish for happiness and the wish to never have to suffer, genuine from our hearts. And then what we do, you pick a loved one that you can just dedicate the whole thing to. Even just the thought of them suffering arouses an intense feeling of compassion in your heart. And you wish for their happiness, genuine. You wish they never have to suffer. And the third immeasurable, that they may have boundless joy. Just like we want boundless joy. And you feel that. And you dwell in that feeling for a short moment. this position, we'll begin this segmented breathing technique, where we'll take our inhale in 4 strokes through the nose, and then we'll suspend for 4 counts. And then we'll exhale through our nose in 4 strokes, and we'll suspend it out for the same 4 counts. It'll be just like this. Suspend. 2, 3, 4. Then you suspend out. Na, ma. Then suspend. Na, ma. Then suspend out. Na, ma. Suspend. Ta. Na, ma. Na, ma. Then suspend. Na, ma. Keeping the body totally still. Sa, ta, na, ma. Ta, na, ma. Suspend. I know my mind. Dwell in the rhythm. Ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na. Ta, na, ma. Beautiful. Keep going. Sa, ta. Try to keep your chest, shoulders soft. Even if the mind is everywhere, keep the body totally steady. The mind will eventually give. You're creating a magnetic field within the context of the asana, of the posture, of the rhythm, the kriya. And as that builds, pressure increasing. Soften the mind. Leave all thoughts and ideas behind. And dwell in the center of things. Just a couple minutes. Steady. Stay the course. For the final minute, go fully into it, be with it. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Hold the posture beautifully. Exhale through your nose. And please, my friends, deeply inhale. Suspend your breath. Suspend your mind. 0. Hold the position through your nose. Exhale. Very deeply inhale. Suspension of the mind. 0. And relax. And one final time, bring into your heart and to your mind your most beloved one, that same person, and give your wish. And even to the adversaries, may the suffering end. May the insanity end. And then into the vast ocean, the infinite ocean of neutrals, of living beings. As far as space endures, as long as living beings remain. Give a wish. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And raise your arms up like this. And just shake them. Keep the energy in your body. Use it all day long. Live life with it. Voila. So take an inhale and relax everything. Have a little bit of water. And thank you all so much for being here, for spending your day and doing the eclipse with us. And thank you to my great team of a small but mighty team of people who make these Life Force Academy experiences so excellent in so many ways, from the production to everyone behind the scenes. We are just really a handful of people, but we're scattered around the U.S., and but we're based here in Northern California, Nevada City, in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, here with a bunch of my friends today. And pleasure being with all of you everywhere. And the one thing I want to tell you about before we go is in my opinion, the best thing that if you want to experience really what we do and what Life Force Academy does, is the best thing I think that we do is our immersions, our multi-day immersions. It's what kind of the whole force behind everything that we create. All of the music you heard today, for instance, was recorded at the last immersion we did in the mountains of Santa Cruz in June. Everything. And they're extraordinary events. We've been doing them for well over a decade now. They start on a Wednesday evening, they end on a Sunday afternoon. They're deeply transformative. Short enough in time where it's a Wednesday through a Sunday. Most people, if they really want to, they can carve out the time to do it. And if you can do it like that, it's amazing. And it's yes, transformative. It's so fun. It's so beautiful. At first, ordinarily, like with anything like this, you're doing something that's going to be big for yourself. There's going to be a resistance initially, and there's, I think we all, when we drop in with ourselves, we can tell for ourselves, what is my intuition versus what is my resistance? But sometimes it takes getting quiet and doing a couple kriyas to figure that out, to be able to discern that, meditate a little bit, quiet the mind. But what the resistance quickly falls away, and halfway through this thing or before, you wish it won't end. It's amazing. If you can do the session we did today, you can do this whole thing. It's not like, it's like, this was hard. This is 8 sessions over 4.5 days. And they go, this immersion is one of my favorite ones we do. Each session is going through those 8 paths. Your path of prosperity, your path of work, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Mercury, Mars, your path of desire, etc. The ones, all 8 of them. And the final one is 8, is the ascendant. And that's really what your life is about. That's your path of purposefulness. And everybody has that. It's easy for us to think that although I think this facade's totally being cut and cracked, this facade that like the celebrity life is like more magical than ordinary life, and now we kind of know it's not true, And everybody's life is totally magical. Check it out, What's going on, weird ears and fingers and like hair growing on the body, and then there's flowers and there's trees and there's rivers and there's buildings and there's weird energies flying around everywhere. It's the whole thing. It's life on planet Earth and this tender human body. These magnificent kriyas and practices that allow us to take all of that and then actually put it to work. Put it to work. It's not just running energy through a system. It's using the kriyas to actually do the inner transformation that makes a person substantively happier. And it never happens without that. All the medicines all day long, unless they're also actively involved in dharma practice, which is a yoga chitta vritti. It's the transformation of the tendencies of the mind. And it's beautiful. And at first it's like hard and gritty, but little by little it's no longer hard and gritty. It smooths out. It becomes a bliss ride, not some cheesy, fluffy thing, but something that like you're kind of into, because it's painful sometimes, but that pain is like opening into a better life. Even the hardest things, isn't it? And we all know that from our life experience. So this is a 4.5 day experience. The first session, I'll be joined on the stage with these amazing musicians, extraordinary musicians, and they're in it the same way we're in it, just like you can hear right here. They're creating in real time. None of this stuff's rehearsed. It's all being kind of born in the moment. And so our global broadcast of this is really excellent, and you can do it from anywhere you live, anywhere in the world. Get a bestie, get a homie, whatever. Do it on your own in a closet because you got some little kid running around with earbuds and in a little phone or something. You can mostly close your eyes anyways. Get a good sound experience is my recommendation. Aki says also get a good video experience. And so, but it'll work for anything. And the nice thing about the global virtual broadcast is you also it's flexible. If you can't block off, it's October 8th through 12th. If you can't block off 4.5 days, some people do 1 session a day. Some people do 1 session a week over 8 weeks. But you have lifetime access to all of it if you join the virtual broadcast. And we hope you can come. And the last thing is this one we're doing in Boone, North Carolina, in the Appalachians in October. Some of the oldest mountains on the earth, very close to where I grew up. And this is an incredible place in Boone, the Art of Living. It's an incredible place in the mountains of Boone. Incredible facilities built based on ancient Indian principles, Vastu principles. There's an incredible Ayurvedic food, cuisine, Ayurvedic spas. It's really like legit, well done. And a rare place in sitting in the middle of the Bible Belt. And And so if you're feeling really adventurous and you want to come in person, the nice thing is a big facility. Usually we have to cap at 100, 150 people. We have room this year for this one. So it's our first one there. We're very excited. So that's what it is. You can read all about it. We put our heart into really sharing what this is going to be. So if those of you at home are feeling the call, check it out and see what you think. It's for the Eclipse time, it's almost half off if you get in now for the virtual thing. In person, we can't do that. That's up to those people. We can't. But it's not bad. If you're coming in person, you have the wherewithal, bueno. But what I'm really encouraging is, folks, do it from wherever you are. Do it from wherever you are. It's an amazing experience. You'll never forget it. It's incredible. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful Eclipse day. We'll take the hands. Let's seal this thing well. Thanks, everybody.
Every so often in our lives, there does come a time, a moment arises, where we have an opportunity to really do something extraordinary. There is such an opportunity that I think for many of you, you will find this to be, if you jump in, something you'll never ever forget, something that transforms life in such a magnificently wonderful way, and yet it's real, it's practical, it's not fluffy, it's not something far out, it's for the everyday person, everyday human. But those of us who are really committed in our life to living well, to living with a sense of purpose, there's things that need to go, old ways, old patterns, even in our own mind, our own ways of doing things that we already know need to be transformed so we can truly be happy and truly be healthy and live with more joy. And so this is an opportunity happening this October in the mountains of Boone, North Carolina, these incredible Appalachians, in the autumn at the amazing Art of Living Retreat Center. This is not a typical retreat center. This is an incredible place that is built for exactly this type of thing, for us to go into great meditation experiences, yogic practices, but eat the most wonderful food together, to enjoy some of the most extraordinary music, and all of this blends into this one transformational experience that we call the Life Force Academy Immersion. It's short enough that if you really want to come to this, it's not that difficult to fit it into the schedule. Yet it's long enough that over just a matter of a few days, we can deliver true, substantive, life-changing, life-uplifting transformation. We've been doing these for over a decade. They're magical. They're a little bit of hard work, as all good things do require a little bit of hard work. Anything that's going to actually stay, anything that's going to be substantive enough. And yet, when you leave, and every person pretty much over a decade of doing these multiple times a year will agree, the main thing is it's fun. And you feel so good. And at first it's like, I'm not quite sure, but by the middle of it, it's like, I never want this to end. It's so good. And so if you want to do something in your life right now that's so good in that type of a way, that builds your vitality, that builds your clarity, that builds your self-confidence, that builds your intuition,
join us at the Art of Living retreat this October for the Life Force Academy immersion, the first Life Force Academy immersion we're doing at this extraordinary retreat center. So we couldn't be more excited. I want to personally invite you to this event, to come in, to experience this in person, and to do something that I believe you will never ever forget. Tap through to learn more, to read all about it, to see what's involved. This is for anyone. You don't even need to have previous experience with the Kundalini yoga practices or with all the other different Ayurveda. This is for anyone. If you're feeling the call to join in, I want to encourage you to follow that call. We would love to have you there. We would love to welcome you there for the Life Force Academy immersion at the Art of Living Retreat Center this October, Boone, North Carolina. But what we can do in several days is we can create a substantive momentum for ourselves. We can really plug into the source of our happiness and confidence and creativity, and we can gain good perspective on our lives to take our baby steps.
Kundalini has really helped me cultivate the energy to stay focused and present, and to help move blockages.
Doing it online is kind of almost doing it in present. It's like really, you get the same exactly benefits.
And even at home, you do really feel part of the community, you know? Like I really felt like this was my new family.
My first online session, the shift in my thinking, in my attitude, the increased happiness, it's like nothing else that I've ever done online. Nothing else.
Of course, the voice of Simrit and the entire band, the sound current just moves through you.
Just the general teachings of Jaidev and his humor, his love, his kindness, his wisdom, his insight, like all of it is just such an incredible blend.
If we can create a little bit of time to not only do good exercises, center our life force, but to also arouse our wish for real happiness and the conditions of happiness, which means that I'm wishing for you to have real happiness and the conditions of happiness. Everybody wants happiness, so all it's really promoting is happiness through happiness training.